I'm not in your association. That's the line that set everything in motion. Karen Whitman, clutching her clipboard like a lifeline, face burning red, her voice shaking between outrage and disbelief. That's what every rule breaker says, she yelled, dialing 911 right in front of me all over a mailbox. Yeah, you heard that right, a mailbox. If you've ever wondered how a quiet Saturday can spiral into a life-altering war, well, pull up a chair. Because by the time those police cars rolled up, neither of us had a clue we were about to flip both our lives upside down. It started out so ordinary. A chilly Saturday in El Dorado County, coffee in hand, a new mailbox waiting to go up. I was 3 screws in, just enjoying the sound of birds and not thinking about much until the first sheriff's cruiser turned down Maple Street. No big deal. Officer Wilson made his rounds, kept the peace. We all liked him. But when that second car pulled in right behind, I knew something was off. Both cruisers parked smack in front of my place, engines idling, radios buzzing. Officer Wilson stepped out first, that professional but tired look on his face, notepad in hand. "Morning, Mr. Morgan," he said, and I could already feel my day going sideways. "We received a complaint about unpermitted installation work at this address." I set down my drill and tried to keep my tone light. "Just a mailbox, officer." "What's the complaint?" But before he could answer, Karen's voice cut through the air, sharp and practiced like she'd rehearsed it in the mirror. She marched over in her HOA vest, clipboard ready, and started rattling off about architectural approvals and uncooperative residents barely glancing at me. She spoke to the officer like she was his boss, not just another neighbor. I tried to tell them politely that my property was outside the HOA. "Impossible." Karen shot back, eyes narrowed. "Greenwood Estates covers this whole subdivision. I know my territory. The officer just wanted it to be over. You could see it in the way he shuffled his feet." But Karen wasn't backing down. She demanded I be cited for some kind of code violation. I pulled out my phone, showed them photos of my official property survey from the county assessor. Karen didn't even look. "Technology fails all the time," she said, waving me off. "I know every lot in my jurisdiction. You know what I mean? The kind of stubborn that only comes from years of never being challenged." Officer Wilson looked at my survey, then his notes, then asked if I had anything else. "Sure got the full closing papers inside, official plat map and everything. This land's never been part of any HOA. That's why I bought it." Karen didn't budge. "That's what people say when they want to dodge the rules," she shot back like she was accusing me of robbing a bank instead of installing a mailbox. The officer sighed and gave me a warning citation, said I'd need to clear it up with the county. I handed him my business card, California State Office of Housing Policy, Northern Regional Division, but nobody really looked. Karen demanded a copy for her records. While the officer scribbled away, Mrs. Peterson from next door watched from her porch, worry lines etched deep. More neighbors started drifting over some filming with their phones. Karen, emboldened by the crowd, raised her voice. "This is exactly why we have HOA regulations. The rules apply to everyone, no matter how special they think they are." I told her I was happy to follow real rules, just not imaginary ones. Karen shot back that she was the authority. She managed 12 HOAs certified by the state. She said like it was a badge. The officer handed me the citation, a warning 30 days to clear it up. Karen got a copy wearing that smirk of someone sure they'd won. "This is just the beginning," she told me, then stomped back to her Honda Civic. The police left, neighbors went inside, and Mrs. Peterson shuffled over. "Bob, this house has never been part of any HOA," she whispered. What was that woman even talking about? I didn't have an answer. I watched Karen's Civic disappear, then looked down at my own business card. Karen had been so busy playing sheriff she never noticed what it said, who I really was. Monday, I found a certified letter waiting on my doorstep. Urgent compliance required in big red letters. Inside, Karen had gone full bureaucrat, legal letterhead, state licensing numbers, threatening daily fines, $200 processing fees, threats of liens if I didn't submit her paperwork. She even attached CCNR sections but referenced the wrong subdivision. I laughed, then realized it wasn't funny at all. I called my wife Jennifer at work. Remember that HOA nonsense? It just got uglier. She paused, worried. Bob, maybe just give her what she wants. It's not worth it over a mailbox. I get it, but this wasn't about a mailbox anymore. It was about authority, about Karen charging people for power she didn't have. And if she was doing it to me, who else was she squeezing? Lunchtime, I dug into Karen's background. 3 years as a community association manager, started late in life, switched careers at 46. She managed 6 HOAs, but state complaint records showed a pattern. 2 open complaints about aggressive enforcement, questionable fees, especially targeting the elderly. Mrs. Thompson's case stood out. 83 years old, charged $150 for a so-called violation that never existed. She paid only to find out Karen had no right to collect a dime. Wednesday, County Inspector Jim Walters showed up. Clipboard, tape measure, all business. Got a complaint about your mailbox, he said. I walked him out to show off my completely boring regulation mailbox. Jim shook his head. No permit required. Who filed this? I told him the HOA manager thought she had jurisdiction. Not according to county records, he said, making notes. Down the block, Karen sat in her Civic, binoculars in hand, watching. That night, my daughter Sarah came home worried. Dad, some kids say you got arrested. There's a video. I laughed it off, told her it was just a citation, but I could see it bothered her. Jennifer wanted me to let it go, but I couldn't not when I kept thinking about Mrs. Thompson and all the people like her. So I made the call to the county HOA oversight office, this time as myself. This is Bob Morgan, Northern Regional Director. Pull Karen Whitman's complaint history. Verify Greenwood Estates boundaries. The response was immediate, deferential. I told them to flag it as a priority. Jennifer looked at me over her laptop. Bob, what exactly do you do at work? She'd never seen me bring my job home before, not like this. I'm the guy who oversees the people who make sure HOAs follow the law, I told her. And Karen Whitman is about to find out. That week, Karen found out who I really was, Googled me, found my press releases, my state bio. Instead of backing down, she doubled down, filed a formal complaint, accused me of abusing government authority, demanded an ethics investigation. Director Williams called me all business. You're off Placer County cases until this is resolved. Protocol was clear, but it still stung. Karen ran to the news, painted herself as David fighting Goliath, the brave HOA manager battling corrupt state power. Facebook loved her. Friday night she held a rally. 3 years, 0 mistakes, she shouted. Find a single improper charge. Her audience cheered, but that single statement triggered a full-blown audit. Jake Anderson, my lead investigator, called. Her complaint actually helped us mandatory audit, triggered by her 0 mistakes claim. We're going back 3 years, every fee, every action. The results came fast, forward $200 in unauthorized fees from 18 homeowners, most of them elderly. Karen hadn't just made mistakes, she'd built her business on them. She emailed HOA boards, told her assistant homeowners never read their CCNRs, said, it's the easiest money I've ever made. Her lawyer, after reviewing the evidence, told her flat out these fees aren't legal. Boards fired her on the spot. Income gone, custody at risk. Karen still tried to fight. Then she showed up at my office, walked in holding a folder, face pale as chalk. You, she whispered, you're the one in charge. I gestured to the chair. Miss Whitman, your license, your authority, your fees, they all come through this office. You've been charging fees not authorized by law. She tried to protest, but the evidence was overwhelming. Can you stop the investigation, she pleaded. No, and I wouldn't if I could. People deserve protection. She realized then it was over, her hands shaking, asking about her son. For a second, I saw the scared mom behind all that bluster. The board hearing was brutal. Mrs. Thompson testified, trusted Karen paid the fee, never knew she could question it. The young family from Sunset Hills showed their mailbox repainted for nothing. Karen admitted finally she hadn't always read the rules. Her license was suspended, fines levied, career over in an instant. The custody judge transferred her son to his dad pending Karen finding stable work. And me ethics board cleared me completely, said I'd followed procedures to the letter, My role was expanded, budget increased, oversight tightened. Community meetings now included Know Your Rights sessions. Complaints dropped. But the memory of Karen's collapse stuck with me, the human cost, the thin line between authority and overreach. 6 months later, I saw Karen at night school back row, legal ethics textbook open, a humility in her face I'd never seen before. She approached me during break. "Mr. Morgan, I owe you an apology." She'd gotten a job at Target, worked through court-ordered therapy, started making restitution payments. Her son was doing better. She was learning for real this time what the rules actually were. Her case became a statewide example, what happens when power is abused, but also how redemption is possible if you own your mistakes. Mrs. Thompson even forgave her. By winter, Karen was back, this time under a mentor, triple-checking every fee, making sure every homeowner knew their rights. Our community healed, block parties became a thing, disputes settled over coffee instead of threats. A year to the day after the mailbox debacle, Karen's son handed me a card from her. "Thank you for showing me that accountability isn't punishment, it's how we build something better." And you know what? He handed me his own report for school on ethics, on second chances, on what it really means to learn from your mistakes. So here's my question for you. When someone in power crosses the line, do you think they deserve a chance to earn their way back? Or is the damage done for good? Let me know down below. And if you've ever dealt with an HOA nightmare or a petty official, share your story. I guarantee you're not alone. Because at the end of the day, accountability doesn't just fix systems, it rebuilds people if you let it. Well, if